our time that we just engage you as listeners and viewers so that you can get to know our guest for Andrew You're Strong. It's going to be awesome this year. It's about resurgence, the things that God is going to be doing to just restore our faith so that we can move humanity forward. The only time that we've got to live is the time that God gives us and allots us. And I want to make sure that you're going to live each day of your life and you're going to live it until you die. Today, we're really, really excited about our special guest. She is an influencer. She's a mentor to so many people. You know her as Real Talk Kim. She travels the world fulfilling her passion and purpose, and that's to love people back to life. There's so many people that are suffering from mental illness, and I think the greatest challenge in humanity is feeling connected to people that affirm them. And if you ever want to be affirmed, this is the right person to do it. She is a mother, a pastor, an entrepreneur, a mentor, a motivational speaker, an entertainer, and a best-selling author. We asked the question, can we have it all? And I think she is the epitome of giving us the answer. You can have it all, and you must define what all means to you. But before we get a chance to talk to Real Talk Kim, we want to invite you to our Andrew You're Strong. That is December the 14th to the 16th, right in Atlanta. It's not going to be hot Atlanta this year. It's going to be cold Atlanta, but right in Atlanta on the 14th to the 16th. We want you to register now. Take a look at this. A successful syndicated podcast. She has appeared on Preachers of Atlanta, Dr. Oz, Chatter Talk Show, BET, Nightline News. And I can go on and on to talk about the stages she has mounted, the podcast she's been on, the webinars, the radio program. But what I really love is the word real, Real Talk Kim. I remember Kim hearing the story of how you became known as Real Talk Kim. Share with us that journey. It's got some funny moments, but that pivotal moment that changed your destiny. Could you share with us that
Well,
moment?
first of all, I'm so excited to be with you. I'm so honored. I highly respect you. You are changing the game and a true trailblazer for all of us. So I'm glad to be here. Thankful. As I'm sitting here, I am just reflecting and so grateful that every person watching this, as long as you have a pulse, God has a plan, and I'm proof. You know, Dr. Cindy, I was raised in a preacher's home, traveling the world with my mom and dad, and actually raised in a religion that said women couldn't preach. And so I never thought in a million years that God would be letting me do what I get to do today, which I'm so honored that he trusts me with his favorite kids on the planet, which is all of us. But I started out rough, man. I started out angry at life, angry because of the religion, angry because I thought God didn't like women, you know, because we were just put on this earth to have babies and get married and serve men. And I really let that get inside of me. And all the way through until I was probably 36, I ran away from home to get away from the religion, got married young, raised in a religion that said if you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. So that is where the enemy attacked me, was in relationships. And I ended up going to Bible school at World Harvest Church with Pastor Rod Parsley, ended up meeting a boy there. And all of a sudden, it was like I forgot I was there for Jesus and became just overwhelmed by this piano boy. And I'm like, oh, I can see myself right now, first lady, whatever. And Pastor Rod, I'll never forget, we were coming home from Israel because I was singing on his praise team at the time. And I remember Pastor Rod Parsley looked at me and he said, I will not bless that relationship. It is going to mess up your future. And of course, I did not listen. And I left and went and married this boy. And it was 18 years of, I can't say it was all bad. I think that if I would have allowed myself to know the God that I know now, not the God that my mom and dad taught me about, not the God that hard preacher that said, you're going to hell. I just had this idea of God being this really mean God and that he was really mad at me. And I'll never forget, Dr. Cindy, I was 18 years in this marriage, had two beautiful boys, and sin had taken us further than we wanted to go, cost us more than we wanted to pay, and kept us way longer than we wanted to stay. And I ended up back at my mom and dad's house at 36. I thought my life was over. Everybody was talking about me. I did everything. I was like
Mm.
Paul before Saul. Before Saul before Paul. I did everything they said I did. And they were talking about me. And I remember I was laying in my bed one night at my mama's. I couldn't even buy cheese with my credit. I mean, I was broken, 36 years old. And I am laying in my bed and I'm like, God, take this pain away from me. Because I was raised, you could just shout it out. You know, you could two-step it out. You can like fall in the floor and get it out. And I was just thinking God was just going to rip it out of me. He was going to rip this crazy shame, this guilt, because that was really what was driving me, was the guilt and the shame of not meeting the mark. And I'm laying in my bed one night and I said, God, take this pain away from me. I'm watching a revival even. I mean, I'm so desperate. I'm even watching TBN. And I mean, I'm like, God, take this pain away from me. And I heard God so clearly say, I can't take this pain away from you. You got to get up and walk away from it. And
Mm.
I'm thinking, what? I got to do the work. I didn't even know where to start, Dr. Cindy. Like I went to Bible school. I was raised on the church pew, but I didn't even know who God was for myself.
Mm.
And I realized at that moment that God was wrecking my plans because my plans were wrecking me. And
Mm.
that when he breaks your spirit, he's actually saving your soul. And for
Mm.
the first time in my life, I started picking myself up. Probably it took me about 37 years old. I started picking myself up, went and got me a job at Belk, which is like a Kmart on crack. I was so mad, Dr. Cindy. It was like the only store in Fayetteville, Georgia, where my parents lived, which is where I ended up. And I really, at that season, it was, I was raised where you couldn't even wear makeup. Like this religion, you couldn't even wear makeup. Like the men
Mm.
looked like they stepped out of GQ, but the
Yeah,
women looked like
yeah.
they stepped out of they needed makeup. And so I didn't even know how to do makeup. But God has a sense of humor. He put me in Estee Lauder Cosmetics. And I remember talking to him saying, God, I don't even know how to do this. He said, go YouTube it, figure it out. I don't know how to do makeup. The reason I wear a lot of my big glasses and everything else that y'all have seen me wear over the years is because my eyebrows are not on fleek. They ain't twins because I never knew how to do makeup. I
One
really
is asking the question and the other is giving the answer.
and I remember I was sitting there doing a lady's makeup one day and I was scared to death. And all of a sudden, something started hitting me. And it was, you can't do this makeup, so you better start figuring it out. And I never knew it until like 5 years later, whenever I was still, I graduated to Bloomingdale's at Lenox Mall. God gave me 1 hour to Bloomingdale's, 1 hour home, in a car, in traffic, in a car that broke down every day. I went from Mercedes, $500,000 house to this knockoff Bentley. It looked like, I called it my knockoff Bentley. It was a 300 Chrysler. And it would overheat every day. Now I laugh about it because it was all set up, a setup of God. And he would, every season that I would graduate with letting some more anger go, I would lay in my bed and say, God, help me forgive myself. Help me forgive all those people that I've been so mad at, that I've been praying for you to kill them with the train every night. I pray every night, kill them with the train.
A
Because I knew
whole train, not
a
even a
whole
car.
train. A whole train. I knew Dr. Cindy Tribb couldn't bring them back to life if they were splat. And I remember over that season, man, I would just lay hands on myself and I would be driving to work saying, God, I want to forgive, but I don't know how. And I think a lot of us are there in life
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
some point. I
Yeah.
don't know how to get over this, but I began to pray those elementary prayers. Like, God, I want to do the work. I don't want you just to do this resurrection in me. I want to feel it, because if you ever decide to use me outside of Bloomingdale's or makeup counter, I want to be able to love people like you loved me back to life right now. Was I at the place I wanted to be? No, but I was putting in the work. I was putting on people in my car going to work. Dr. Cindy Trim. I was putting on TD Jakes. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I'd go pause. Get ready, get ready, get ready. I was practicing for, I didn't know what I was practicing for. But when I would get to that job and those people would sit in my chair, I would, for 45 minutes, hear stories of people that had walked through a divorce, didn't know how to get up, had been going to a therapist, still stuck after 13 years. And in 45 minutes, me showing them the love of Jesus, letting them know, as long as you ain't dead, God ain't done. And what was happening, Dr. Cindy, was I was being birthed. I was being rebirthed. Resurgence was taking place in my life. And I
Yes.
didn't even realize that it took me hitting rock bottom to find out who the rock is at the bottom, which is Jesus. And I
Mhm.
remember one day, girl, I was sitting in my car and that smoke was coming out of my car. And all of a sudden, because I'm getting so free of depression, y'all, I was getting freedom because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was mad. I was mad at the devil, because I was like, I gave you a lot of reasons to destroy me. I did everything they said I did, but I'm about to shift this trajectory of my life. And every day I'd be prophesying. I would be prophesying when something negative would come in my mind. I would prophesy exceedingly abundantly, more than I could ever ask or think. I was prophesying. God knows the plans he has for me. And I would rebut those bad thoughts with the good thoughts. And one day that smoke's coming out of my car on 75. I'm sitting on the side of the road, and this day was a day that smoke should not have come out, and I should not have been sitting on the side of the road, because all of a sudden I took my camera out because I didn't have nothing else to do. I had to wait for the car to quit overheating. I pulled that phone out and I said, hello, awesome people. Are you sitting on the side of the road feeling like God's forgotten about you? You want to give up, but giving up ain't your option. See, Dr. Cindy, there's something about an oil that comes on your life when you fought like hell to get out of hell. And you don't, nobody can tell you God ain't real. And so you are convincing because of the passion that has come through that breaking. And that day I did that video and I uploaded it, and that crazy thing went viral. And all of a sudden, this little girl that's sitting at her mom and daddy's house by now is about 38 years old. I'm sitting in my mom and daddy's, and you would have thought I was living in a penthouse downtown and I had all my act together. You would have never known I was sitting on the side of the road in that knockoff Bentley. And man, when I tell you, God shifted the trajectory of my life. Did I start right then? No. He still made me stay at Bloomingdale's for 2 more years.
Mhm.
Even while God was letting me go preach on the weekends, he would still keep me there because he said, girl, your character can't keep up with where I'm taking you yet. You
Come
need some more
on, come
Bloomingdale.
on, come
And
on,
so
come
that's where I was
on.
birthed. I was birthed in my car. Nobody gave me a platform. I wrote my first book, Beautifully Broken, at 41. Nobody in my daddy's church even bought the book or shared it on their news feeds. They were like, we remember you nay-naying and not praying. But God said, I will send complete strangers to support the calling of God on your life. And so that's what Resurgence is all about. That's what
Yeah.
restoration is all about. It's saying, God, I'm not where I want to be, but I ain't staying here. And I'm going to get up, and every day of my life, even when I don't see people pushing or supporting me, I'm still going to get up and I'm still going to show the love of Jesus. So God took me from the girl that hated everybody. I didn't even have girlfriends. I was like, I don't trust no women. It's because I didn't trust myself. And he took me on this journey. And at 41 years old, I got to go full-time ministry, and now I'm 51. So I lost everything, y'all. Listen to this. I lost everything at 36. At 41, I preached my first sermon. And at 42, I wrote my first book, Beautifully Broken. I did my first my podcast went syndicated at 48. And now I'm 51 years old, written 5 books from this special ed girl. I was a special ed my whole life. And at 51, I realized my life is just beginning. So my past is not my future, and it ain't yours either. You just got to get up, y'all. You got to get up.
This is a whole message in and of itself. There's so many elements here that I want to unpack, but we're going to be unpacking a lot of these elements
Yeah.
at Andrew You're Strong. If you have not registered and you are a woman and you are transitioning, you know that God has a call for you. You need to be there. You need to be there for the Unstoppable Woman panel. You need to go register now, get your children, get your auntie, your grandma, your mother, and bring everybody. Because I believe something is about to happen.
Oh yeah.
Pastor Kim,
Oh yeah.
I know without a shadow of a doubt that this session is going to liberate so
Yeah.
many people. It really is. I mean, you said a mouthful. It was like being in therapy and
Yeah.
a revival and all at the same time, just your words. And what I love about you, we were talking earlier, is your level of credibility and relatability and integrity and authenticity. Those are four things that are missing today,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
And I think that the enemy comes at us with this, especially when you've got a strong call of God on your life.
Mhm.
And if you're watching this today and you're even thinking, should I go? What do I need to go for? I'm sitting over here with 5 kids. My husband just left me after 38 years. I'm starting over. I don't even know how to get out of where I'm at. This is for you. The one thing that got me free, Dr. Cindy, was I found voices. I
Mm.
found people that spoke to me, people I never met, that became my mentors from afar, because the enemy wants you to stay in your house and be isolated and look at how far you got to go. And God is over saying, I trusted you. You are the Job. I might have let you go through the fire. I might have let you lose everything, but it's because I know there's not a quitting bone in your body. And I'm going to restore double. God is a God of restitution, but He can't restore us. He can't give us a new if we won't get up and begin to see it. So the enemy fights us there, especially with social media.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
look at everybody's highlight reels. And so if you're thinking, why should I even get in the room? Nobody even knows my name. Why should I write that book? You need to be in this room to understand why. Why do I need to start this podcast? You need to be in this room to find out why. Because there's voices. Dr. Cindy is a voice to all of us. And she is bringing people she trusts into one space. And this one moment can shift the whole trajectory of your life, because an awakening can take place. So the enemy don't want you to get there. The enemy's going to tell you your resources can't afford it. Baby, don't go to the dollar store. Don't go buy your Sheen haul for the month of December. Don't buy those gifts for those people you don't even like, and invest in yourself, because there's a word that is going to set you free and ignite a fire back in you to let you know you are necessary. And if you don't walk in your calling, there are people, thousands of people in this world, that won't get to where they're supposed to go, because you carry that unlocking key that's going to unlock their destiny.
Yes, this is really, really powerful. You talked so much, and I think one of the themes that I'm hearing now is adversity. And I want you to respond to this quote. It's a quote from Albert Einstein. It says, "Adversity introduces a man to himself."
Woo! Listen, there is nothing in this world like finding yourself in a place you never saw yourself. It wasn't on your dream board. You never saw yourself divorced. You saw yourself with the white picket fence. You had your mind made up of what your life was going to look like. And now here you are staring at every single time I'm in a meeting and I say, how many of you are where you thought you would be right now? At this point in your life, not one single person lifts their hand. And it's because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he does it through your own mind and through your own eyesight and through the people that you have in your VIP section that don't see what God sees in you. And you stop the call of God on your life, because when God called you, He didn't call a conference call. It's that adversity that you're embarrassed about. It's that pain that you have encountered. The pain
Mm.
wasn't your fault necessarily, but the healing is your responsibility. You can't walk around bleeding on people that didn't cut you. You got to get that adversity and realize this is the greatest life college that I will ever have. And I don't have to pay one student loan back. If it wasn't for that adversity, how could God show out in your life? So embrace the adversity. Be proud of it. God trusted you with that divorce. He knew it was going to happen before you were ever even a thought in your mother's womb, before you ever were born. On the day you were born and you came out of your mama, the doctors heard, wah, but hail, heard purpose, destiny, a game changer, a nation shifter, a person that can take a licking and keep on ticking. That's
Mm,
you. And
mm,
that's what adversity does.
mm.
Adversity lets you know that you're a lot stronger than you ever thought you could be. And guess what? God trusted you with it, and you will make it. You're going to
Mm,
make it. It
mm.
just depends on when you decide to get up and make it.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about a decision. When I think of you like a prophetic surgeon. Your words are just laser sharp. How does God speak to you? This is a three-part question. How does God speak to you? How do you know that this is God's voice? Number one. Number two, how do you digest it? And then number three, you do something. You're like a wordsmith on steroids. I listen to your sound bites on X, formerly Twitter. Your sound bites are so beautiful and laser sharp and poetic. How does God speak to you? How do you digest what God is saying to you? And then what would you say to a younger Christian woman on how she can have that connection with God so that she can hear and digest as well?
How do I hear from God? I hear
Mhm,
from God in everything. Like I
mhm,
was watching a series the other day called
mhm,
Found. I got so many messages just off that series because I'm a hope dealer. I'm a purpose pusher. That's what I do.
mhm,
And I hear from God through, man, I hear from God through movies. I hear from God through billboards. I hear from God through people like you that'll just stick something in me and he will twist it. I was in special ed. So it's almost like God has a sense of humor because I literally couldn't retain anything that I read. So I was a troubled child all throughout elementary school and junior high and halfway through high school. And so it's funny to me because now I'm like this wordsmith and people, how do you get these one liners? It's crazy, but he drops these one liners in my head and they just stick. They just, even the scriptures are like that to me. Like God ministers through me through these sticking moments. So he talks to me through everything. I'm always aware. Then a second thing, that the second part of your question is, you got to be fearless. You can't walk around saying, I don't know if this is God. Is this God? I don't know if this is God. If it is in your gut and it is a positive force and it is something that you know is shifting you and your insides, that is God talking to you.
mhm.
God puts things inside of us that set us apart and makes us unique. But we want to sugarcoat it, calm it down, water it down. Then we become like everybody else on the social media platforms. And then God is saying, no, you're losing who I created you to be. So I hear from God through all things. I wake up in the morning and say, I lay hands on myself, say, God, let me see what I need to see. Let me hear what I need to hear. And don't let me miss an assignment that you have for me today. I
Yes.
do it every day. And then how I walk in it, how do I execute it? I am fearless. I am fearless. When I feel any ounce of should I do this? I'm like, yes, I should do this. Because if the impact of the negativity is the voices in your head are saying, no, that's too much. Nope, nope, they're gonna say this about you. They're gonna say that about you. I know I gotta go all the way in because that is even God more. So you got to be fearless. You got to be bold. You got to be willing to be strong and understand that we don't live in a world. We live in a world where a lot of women are told she's too much. You're not too much when your heart is right. When your
Mhm.
heart is right, the delivery's different. And so it's literally paying attention to yourself every day. It's fasting, praying, saying, God, make me aware of your voice so that I don't let the outside voices sugarcoat and water me down. Let me always stay who I am. And it's every day praying that. And it's being intentional. And it's doing it scared to death and realizing that people didn't qualify you. God qualified you. And if he opens the door for you, he's got plans to bless you in that walking, in that obedience. 1 ounce of obedience will do more for you than all the prayer in the world. So today it's
Yes.
here and everywhere you go, keep your eyes open. This is
Mm.
why it's important that you don't have a lot of people in your ear. This is why you don't have a lot of noise where you're so, I don't know who I am. I don't know if this is God. I don't know what my purpose is. Your purpose is when you got a platform, start using your lives. Start pushing that live button. Start using your social media platforms as your platform. Use what you got and stop looking for other people to give you that platform, other people to endorse you, other people to give you constructive criticism that ain't constructive nothing. Stop letting people validate you that ain't valid, and get in your own lane and just do it. And listen, yo, when I started my lives, Dr. Cindy, I would get on my lives. I'll never forget, it was 10 years ago. I'd get on and I'd be like, hey, everybody, gosh, y'all are coming in so fast today. Oh man, I pray y'all are having the best day ever. I got a word for you today. There wasn't one person on,
Oh,
but I was prophesying. I was like, people are going to come.
yes.
Dr. Cindy, I did it every day. Nobody showed up, but I still did
Moving
it
out
every
by faith. I mean, that
day.
is,
So it's doing it even when you don't see the results.
yeah.
It's continuing because God's saying, can I trust you in the rejection? Can I
Mm,
trust you when nobody's supporting you? Can I
mm,
trust you with what I've put inside of you? Because the higher you go, the more noise there's going to be. Can I
mm.
trust you to stay faithful? And girl, I am a consistent person. I will do it. I will do it. I will do it. Even when nobody's supporting, God always puts his endorsement on it. When he sees that you'll do all you can with the one that you would do if there was 10,000.
Mm, 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 mm. This is so exciting. I can't wait. I can't wait to end your year strong because we want to continue to unpack it. And you have an opportunity to co moderate.
I'm
So that
so
puts you front and center stage.
so excited. I feel like that it's so funny to me because this is my lane. What you just said, I love to co-moderate. I love to pull stuff out of people and hear their stories. And I just feel like even what you're gonna do on this day with us, all of these people that you're giving us a platform, you're giving a lot of people that don't even you're giving them their moment with God,
Mhm,
right? In
mhm.
front of these people so that they can share. And this right here, this session that y'all are hearing about right now, will I know without a doubt that it is going to birth some of you. It's going to awaken that thing on the inside of you that you laid down when you felt like you were a disappointment. I feel it, girl. I feel like this is going to be a moment of destiny for a lot of people that are going to say, okay, I get it. I'm in the room for a reason. Every single one of you that are coming, if you're even having second thoughts right now, that's the enemy. There's no reason why in the world. This is one of the best conferences, y'all, that I've been to. I've been to it. It is one of the best conferences because this woman sitting right here has proven to us that if you just keep moving, stay focused, don't get caught up in the noise or what people are trying to bully you into to doing on your social media platforms. You stayed the course. And baby, in this season, you want to grab the hem of the garment of those that are successfully doing it and have done it well for years. The anointing's on her life, and the anointing's on all the people that she's bringing in that room. And this is your divine moment for your destiny.
Thank you so much for that. And those of you that are listening, I had this question just to help people to get you to know you a little bit more. It's kind of about you on a personal level. But what is your favorite go-to city that you love to visit, and what does it do for you?
Miami. I
Mm.
love Miami. It's crazy. It's like Miami is because I started reinventing myself at about 50. I
Hmm.
started going to the gym, working out. Y'all know I used to have a mohawk. Now I'm in my soft girl air. Uh, and it's a city where it's like a complete package. Like you have dreamers, you have people that are investing in themselves, you have billionaires, millionaires. And I like to go places that keep me. I do this with even my friends. Like I only surround myself with people that are going further than me, my space, my intimate time. I want to grow. And so that place just kind of, it's got great shopping. And I'm like, I love to shop.
And great food
Phenomenal food.
and
It's just such a
eternal sunshine
just a
and
culture.
beaches. I love Miami.
I do too.
Before I lived in Atlanta, I lived in South Florida.
I love
And
it.
it's something about the vibe. It's
The vibe. It's so
yeah,
culture.
and it's the life. It's life giving. You know, God makes zip code, and every zip code has an assignment.
I agree.
Yeah, and you know, wherever you are now, there's a specific assignment for that zip code, and you're a
Amen.
part of it. Your favorite cuisine?
Favorite cuisine is I love Mexican food. It's my
Mm,
guilty pleasure. I could eat chips and queso till in my weight. And so
wow.
I love Mexican food a lot. I've just now started really loving sushi too, but cooked.
Okay.
I love cooked sushi too.
Mine is Inago, and I love that definitely. All right, so let me ask you one more question.
Okay.
Favorite favorite color?
Hot pink.
Hot pink.
I love pink. I love
Wow.
pink. I love pink. So girly. I'm a girl's girl. I
Mhm.
am girly. I love frou frou. I love light pink, baby pink. I love hot pink. I love all shades of
Oh,
pink.
pink. Pink is it. If you were a body of water, any body of water, or water, what kind of water would you be?
Light blue, clear, crisp. You can see all the way to the bottom
Mm, mm, mm,
with white sand
mhm,
because it attracts. It's like when you go to Destin has the most beautiful beaches, and
mhm.
it's like the water so pure that it attracted the most beautiful sand. It's just a perfect conglomerate of beach.
If God could give you one superpower, what superpower would you want?
My superpower would be to be able to heal.
Mm,
I would love to be able to heal in a sense of letting people realize just how beautiful they are
mm.
and how their comeback can be so great. It would be to heal. It would be just to be able to walk into a room and people that have been bound forever by themselves, by their own strongholds, can be free because they would get confidence in themselves, just like that.
Wow. Do you realize that you have that superpower already?
You think?
Yeah, anybody that encounters you, there is an anointing that you carry, and it's healing. Just your smile, just your greeting, just your hug, it's healing.
That means
So
the world.
I will have to ask you, what would your second superpower be then?
My second superpower would be my second superpower would be to fly.
Mm,
I would love to fly. These airplanes are kicker. They kill you behind. I love to
yeah,
fly. I would love to be able to get places like this.
yeah.
I hate traffic.
Hmm.
Some people would say my old Kim, the old Kim, the one that says put them in the balcony. That one is bye Felicia. It would be to hear what people were thinking, but I am free from that. I don't want to know what
Yes,
other people
yes,
think. Ain't none of my doggone
yes.
business. So now it would be to fly and to heal.
Favorite book of the
What
Bible?
would yours be?
Mine, my superpower would again to heal. If I just had this supernatural wand and I could wave it, that they will be healed of self doubt, healed of
Yes.
emotional pain, healed of abuse, but it will come with a mirror
Come on.
that shows them who God really made them to be and
Yeah.
how awesome they are. And they could see beyond all of those layers and
Yeah.
really discover that they're one of God's greatest gifts to humanity. That's what I
Yeah.
would want. Just to maybe it's a mirror, put a mirror that reflects God's original plan for them.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. If you were, what's your favorite book of the Bible?
My favorite book of the Bible is Psalms. I love Psalms. I love
Mm.
Psalms because some people think I'm not so deep. I'm
Mhm.
not. Psalms is like a prophetic, Psalms 91. I love
Mhm.
Psalms. They just
You
always,
remind me of Albert Einstein.
really,
I tell you why. He was so brilliant that there was no test that could rightly give an indication of how brilliant he was.
man.
And of course, he was tested, and they said that he would never learn um, because he had learning disabilities. This is what they said,
Yeah,
that he was a dunce, or he did not have the intellectual capacity
yeah.
for school, for formal school. And one day, his teacher came to his mother and said to him, we're not going to be able to teach him because he doesn't have the ability to learn. And he asked his mother, well, what did the teacher say? And she said, well, the teacher said that you are so intelligent that there's no one in the school that could teach you. So I have to keep you home and teach you
I
myself.
love that.
And I think, it's a level of intelligence that God gives to people like Albert Einstein and you, that if you matriculated through traditional universities and schools, it would destroy your level of intelligence.
Come on, Dr. Cindy.
You're just, I mean, most people have to pay, or most people have to pay someone to tell them that they're intelligent, and you were born with it. You don't have to expand. You were born with that knowledge. I just love it. If you had one sermon that you had to preach for the rest of your life and you couldn't preach any other sermon, what would that sermon be?
Mourn and move.
Mm,
Get up. Get up. You gotta get up. Life is gonna life, but you gotta use it as stepping stones. Mourn and move.
life be
Heal
life.
and move. Don't just stay there. Get up. Get up while you're pull your thick thigh, but go, 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 go. I think we get stuck in those terrible seasons that we hate. We get stuck there, and we're not stuck because we're not a tree.
Hmm.
Mourn and move.
Wow.
Mourn and move. You got
Wow.
to get up.
You got to get out. Got to get out. Here's my last question. I have so many questions, but we're going to,
I love this.
yeah. So my last question is, if you were a biblical character, it's a three-part.
Okay.
If you were a biblical character, which character of the Bible do you identify with?
Paul.
Paul?
Also Paul.
Why?
Because he did everything they said he did. He killed Christians. He went on this boat, had a shipwreck. God used the shipwreck to get him to the island. The snake bit him. He had tragedy after tragedy, and he shook the snake off again. God ended up using the snake hand bite to go and heal the king's father. I mean, that's who I relate to a lot. Is because every single time he got hit with something, he did what they said he did, but God ended up using his tragedy as triumph, and he ended up healing people with the very hand that was bit. He ended up letting God use him. He was a revivalist because he kept going, even when they said he must be a killer, he must be a Christian killer. He was, but he ended up turning it around. He didn't listen to what they were saying. He just stayed focused and kept going. He
Wow.
didn't come off his chair to throw tomatoes. He just kept going. And then he ended up being one of the greatest revivalists, healing hearts, healing sickness. That's who I relate to.
Wow. Now you see what I mean? Your mind, I think one of your gifts, and those of you that are watching, you have gifts as well, is to take something that is very complex and simplify that. And that is brilliance. That is intelligence.
Man,
Ignorance is taking something simple and making it complex. But intelligence and brilliance and genius is taking something very complex and making it very simple. And that is you. You indeed, for me, are the unstoppable woman. And your whole story is a story of resurgence. I want you all to hang out with Kim and I at
Yes,
Andrew You're Strong, December the 14th to the 16th. And here's the deal, it's called Andrew You're Strong,
man.
because how something ends is how it begins. And your next year does not have to look like this year at all. So join us, Kim and I, and I'm looking forward, Pastor Kim, to doing something right here in Atlanta with you.
Yeah, I
My
can't.
my mind is just turning,
I
and I
can't
love
wait.
you. I
I
love
love.
you, and I admire you. I honor you. I respect you, and truly, you are the epitome of an unstoppable woman.
Oh,
Thank you,
I love you, Dr.
thank
Cindy.
you for being you and not somebody else.
Oh, ditto. Y'all get your tickets. You're going to be so mad at yourself. It's not even the same watching it online. Get to the room. The presence is going to change everything for you.
Thank you so
I
much.
love you.
Love you guys.